We are taking a quick break from our Mendiola Champions League campaign to join the Philippines, where World Cup qualifying has come to a crescendo. So, for those who aren't familiar with what Asian qualifying for the World Cup looks like, there's three rounds to it, or at least three automatic rounds. So, first round is kind of the lower seeded teams, and they go into a playoff where they go into the second round where you go into a four-team group stage. And the top two teams from the four-team group stage will qualify for the third round. So as we look at us here, we were in a group with South Korea, Palestine, and Nepal, where we did really well. We had 3 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. We lost to South Korea 3-1. We drew 2-2 with Palestine and 1-1 with South Korea. But we beat Palestine and we beat Nepal twice, and that allowed us to advance out of the group in second place, which allowed us to go into the third round. Now, the third round is a really important round for World Cup qualifying because you are in a group of 6, and the top 2 teams qualify automatically for the World Cup, while the third and fourth place teams qualify for the fourth round. And if we look at the fourth round here, then the fourth round, you can qualify for the World Cup automatically by finishing in first, which is what we did for the last World Cup, or you can finish in second and go into the playoffs. And then the winner of the playoffs will eventually look to qualify for the World Cup. Currently, though, we are in the third round of World Cup qualifying, so we are in the current group of 6. And again, the top 2 qualify automatically for the World Cup. The third and fourth place teams qualify for the fourth round. So at the moment, we need to look and try to finish in one of these top 4 positions. We are currently 4 matches into the third round of World Cup qualifying. And the issue is that we have a really tough group and we have had a really difficult time. First up, we played the United Arab Emirates, where we lost 4-1. Where we unfortunately allowed goals in the 92nd and 97th minutes to lose 4-1. Otherwise, we were actually in that match for most of it, and it was a really tough loss. But then we came up against Iraq at home in a match that we should have done so much better in, but we allowed 2 goals, even though we had a higher XG. I think our shots were a little bit better, but I couldn't believe some of the goals that we were missing. And ultimately, we lost 2-0 to Iraq. We came back onto things well. We beat Kuwait 2-0, and that put us back on track. But then, this was the heartbreaking one. A 2-0 home loss to Uzbekistan, where we played terribly. We were not the better team. Uzbekistan completely dominated. Uzbekistan at home was the team that we beat to make the World Cup previously. This time we have lost 2-0. And ultimately, looking at our group, that puts us in a really tough position. So again, we've played Iraq, Uzbekistan, the UAE, and Kuwait. The only team we've beaten is Kuwait. Otherwise, we have been really not good. We are currently sitting outside the top 4 places, and we need to get back to at least 4th place to stand a chance here. And we are coming back for this match because it is a crucial match. We are playing Japan away from home. And Japan, this is a tough group. Japan are currently sitting in 4th place on 4 points. They are the team that we need to beat to at least have a chance of qualifying for the World Cup. This match will also mark the halfway point of World Cup qualifying. So World Cup qualifying will go into next year, but it's going to be really tough. Kuwait is probably the only team we're guaranteed to beat. We will play Japan again in our last match. But if we lose to Japan today, they would be on 7 points, we would be on 4 points. And at that point, I don't think Japan is going to lose to Kuwait. In fact, they beat UAE and they drew Kuwait, but they'll be playing Kuwait at home. If we lose to Japan today, I think our hopes for qualifying for the World Cup would probably be over. So as a result, today is a huge day as far as potentially making the World Cup is concerned. If we lose today, we probably won't make the World Cup, but this is in the immediacy. The other things on the horizon are We are in the Southeast Asian Championship again. This happens every 2 years. We are pretty much in the same group, I think, as we had last time. I can't remember if we had Malaysia. I think we might have had Indonesia last time. Otherwise, it's pretty much the exact same group. I'm probably not going to film the Southeast Asian Championships. The reason for that is that most of our Philippines-based players play for Mendiola, and I want to keep our squad together for our Champions League run. So as a result, it's not just going to be a second team compared to our normal squad, but it's also going to be a second team compared to our normal Asian-based squad. So because of that, I probably won't film the Southeast Asian Championships. If we make the final, maybe I'll film that. But otherwise, I'm not expecting much out of this. I'm calling up a entirely backup squad because I want our best Asian-based players at Mendiola, where we have players like Alvin Santos, Joseph Talarok, Carlos Carrion, all those guys. They are still at Mendiola, so I'm going to keep them there. And as a result, I probably won't film the Southeast Asian Championship since it's essentially just a backup team. But again, back in the immediacy, we are at a crucial juncture for World Cup qualifying. We played Japan just to try to get to the next round so we can get into the fourth round and have a shot at making the World Cup. We need at least a draw. That'll keep us within touching distance. But if we lose this match, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of hope for World Cup qualifying. So as a result, today is a huge day. And we are bringing out the best squad that we have got for this match. We are playing the 3-3-1-3, which has worked very well for us in the past. So we're going to hope that it works well for us again. The big news is Joshua Gonzalez coming back into the squad. He's not very match fit. And we look at him, I just really want him to develop more. He hasn't played a whole lot for Hertha Berlin. He's in the first team squad, but not getting much playing time. But hopefully he can come through today. But that being said, for this match, big match, Sebastian Barak up top. We do have Frederick Bayan on the bench. So if we need a goal, he can come on. But otherwise, Joshua Gonzalez and Daniels on the width. I've put in Sandro Reyes in the middle role here. I think he's developing nicely. He's coming into his prime, 25 years old. So he's going to play as the central midfielder on attack. The big news is John Patrick Strauss. I don't know if you guys can see this down here. John Patrick Strauss, our normal DM, is suspended for this match. As a result, Oskari Kokkonen comes into the DM role. It's not really his preferred position, but he's the only player who can play there at the moment. Obviously, on the wing, we have Obermeyer and Lingbo. In the back, we have Tobias Jefferson, Ugelvik, and Santos. And then in the back, we have Mendoza. So this is going to be the biggest match, certainly, of this year for the Philippines. And if we can get a result against Japan, that would go a long way for us qualifying for the World Cup, or at least having the chance to qualify for the World Cup. But if we don't win this match, I think things are pretty much over. So this is the team. It's going to be a huge match. I will see you all in the match.
To be honest, I've been surprised at how poorly Japan have done so far in this World Cup qualifying section. You would expect Japan to be they're one of the better teams in Asia, and the fact that they've done so poorly has been a surprise to me. And especially in Football Manager, they always do really well. But they are the team that we are competing against for that last fourth place spot to potentially have an opportunity to get into the World Cup. All right, Obermeyer standing over this corner here. We're going to put in the in-swinger. An early opportunity for us. This is exactly what we're trying to do. And it's going to fall to Joshua Gonzalez. Joshua Gonzalez scores. We take an early 1-0 lead. We're only 3 minutes in. This is exactly what we were looking for. Japan are a good side. Again, this is what they do. They play the short kind of style. They like to have a lot of the possession in the match, so we're going to be looking to counter that with our formation and our tactic here. But they're a good side, and we just need to get set pieces and breakaway opportunities as it falls to the edge of the box here, and it is wide. And this is what they're going to look to do. They're going to look to get the ball out wide. Goes out wide to Fuse here, goes into the back post. Well done, Ugelvik, well done. Daniels, you can't lose the ball there. We are very fortunate. We have a free kick opportunity here. Gonzalez playing it to Reyes. Reyes playing it in. Daniels scores! Kenshiro Daniels has found the back of the net. We have an early 2-0 lead. This reminds me of the World Cup where just kickoff highlights were the absolute worst for us. But Reyes here, Daniels don't lose the ball again. That's all right. He clears the ball. And the highlight continues. Tamaka playing it on the left side here. It goes back to Omori. Japan just patiently probing here. We're fine sitting back so far. And it goes in. Oh, and he's going to be wide open. Takada shoots. It's off the bar. We've gotten away with it. What is going on? What just happened? What just happened? I still can't believe what happened on the last goal. I mean, if we could get to halftime, at least we get away with it. Ugelvik doesn't clear it. I don't know what's going on here. Daniel's here. What is happening? It falls out wide, or in the middle to Shishima. Oh, it goes out wide to Fuse. It's 2-2. It is 2-2. I feel like we've been robbed. What has just happened? Alright, second half now. I told the boys at halftime that honestly, I mean 2-2, we're happy with that. I told them we were happy so far just to continue. It goes over the bar. That is fine for us. Another opportunity for us here. Tobias Jefferson carrying the ball forward. He has not had a good game so far, but it falls out wide to Lingbo. Lingbo going around the outside. It's going to go to Daniels. It's never really troubling Morikawa. And at least a couple of highlights for us here. Joshua Gonzalez out on the left-hand side. Kekon in here. Tobias Jefferson. You can't lose the ball there. Just play it around. Tobias Jefferson's been terrible today. Kikuchi playing it out wide. It goes to Masumoto. Masumoto going out wide here. That's a great run by him. And it goes to the edge of the box. Can we get a block or something in here? Well blocked. That's exactly what we needed. Of course, they've had most of the possession for most of the match. Mori out wide to Kobayashi. Yamada, Nakagawa. Oh, that's a great ball in behind. Fuse. And it's over the bar. It is over the bar. Corner kick opportunity here for Japan. Omori to swing it in with the left foot. It is well cleared here. It falls to Yamada. That's a weird ball out wide to Masumoto. Oh, and we've just let him walk past us. We are very fortunate that we're not down at this point. And I think this is going to be the end of match highlight now. We're past the time. It's 6 minutes of added time. We are past the time. Ref, you got to blow the whistle here. Masumoto to Kobayashi. We are past the allotted amount of time here. A 2-2 draw would be wonderful for us. We will take a 2-2 draw. Just let us finish the match here. Ref, blow the whistle. This has to be the end of the game here. Why hasn't the whistle been blown? There it is!
Well, the group is in an interesting position now with some interesting results. Kuwait and Iraq drew. I think that's a bit of a surprise. But Uzbekistan drawing the UAE, which pretty much means at this point that first and second are out of the equation at this point. We essentially have no chance of finishing in first or second. I mean, with our form, we were never really looking at that. But we're now 8 points behind. We're just not going to make up that ground for certain. However, it is very tight between third and sixth. There is only 4 points separating. We are now 1 point behind Japan and 2 points behind the UAE. So it is really interesting. It's going to be very interesting going into the second half of World Cup qualifying here. Obviously, it would have been nice to beat Japan. We did have that 2-0 lead, but it ended up being a 2-2 draw. We are also much lower on the goal differential, which doesn't help. But just being 2 points behind third and 1 point behind fourth, we have to take some positives, and I think those are the positives at the moment. As far as what is coming up next, we do have one more match in this international window against Iraq. I'll play that off screen. I don't expect we're going to beat Iraq given that they're in first, so I'm just expecting this to be a loss. As I mentioned previously, then we move into the Southeast Asian Championships. Unless we make the final or something, I probably won't film that. Again, I'm planning on bringing in a completely third string squad. A lot of our best Filipino players that are based in Asia, which you're only allowed to have your Asian-based players in Southeast Asian Championship roster. Most of them are playing for Mendiola. I want those players to be playing in the Asian Champions League for Mendiola, so I'm not going to call them up. So we're going to be bringing up essentially a third string squad. And as a result of that, I don't expect the Southeast Asian Championship to go well. So unless we make the final or something, I probably won't film it. But again, and then as we move into the second half of World Cup qualifying, this is going to be the big one. These last two ones, the UAE and Kuwait and Uzbekistan and Japan. So maybe we'll come back for the Kuwait match, maybe, because by that point we'll have a really good idea of what's going on. And we will definitely come back for this home match against Japan. Because looking at the way that the table is looking, that is likely going to be a decisive match. But with that all being said, that is the state of World Cup qualifying right now. I'm going to be honest, I think let me know what you guys are thinking and how you guys are enjoying the Philippines national team. But I think depending on how this World Cup qualifying goes, we may be coming to the end of my time as the manager of the Philippines in this save. I have really enjoyed it, but obviously it's very difficult to develop players as the Philippines national team manager. And I am starting to think that it might be good to focus solely on Mendiola FC given how our financial situation is looking. But of course, if you guys are really enjoying the Philippines national team, then I will stay on as manager. But depending on how this World Cup qualifying section goes, I think our time to the Philippines might be coming to an end soon. But that being said, that is way away into the future. We still have to get through here. And we are still looking to potentially qualify for a World Cup. So hopefully the second half of our World Cup qualifying campaign will go better. Hopefully this draw against Japan will help to spur us forward and we will see what happens. But that being said, that is everything I've got. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.